Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm not super energetic today, and welcome back to the Roger Report, episode 3. So, I'm not going to be projecting my voice really like I normally would. I'm going to be talking a lot more calm like this. The reason is because I'm feeling very under the weather right now, and my voice is still like it'll make me cough if I talk too loud or whatever the case may be. But unfortunately, this is going to be a shorter episode. The reason it's going to be a shorter episode is because, unfortunately, I had some issues with my recording software, where I actually have recorded episode 3 and 4, and I was going to upload all of those, but unfortunately, both of 3 and 4 corrupted. So halfway, you get like a quarter to a halfway through the video, and it just completely freezes. Like the timer keeps going on the video, but the video stops, the audio stops, everything's done, and it just like restarts and loops back to the beginning. And unfortunately, it's not something that I know how to fix. So other than just redoing it, and I'm not going to do that. The reason I'm not going to do that is because I was thinking about it. There's some information here that's interesting, but a lot of episode 3 and a lot of episode 4, I believe episode 3 was about more ways the US dollar is being affected. So basically, when I was talking about in episode 2 about all the things that other countries outside of the US are doing, basically to reject the US dollar, it was a continuation of that. More examples. Nothing major changed, just more examples. Some key ones that I'll just point out: the US dollar, for the first time in 20 years, is now more expensive than the Chinese renminbi. So basically, in short-term trading, it's cheaper to go for or short-term borrowing, my bad, it's cheaper to go for the renminbi. That is huge. As well as the top 10 strongest currencies in the world, America has fallen to number 10 at the very bottom spot. First time it's happened in a while. Basically, like Morgan Stanley, their executive director and head of digital asset markets, basically stated that there's a clear shift from dollar dependency in the global market, and that stable coins, CBDCs, as we talked about before, and potentially BRICS currencies are going to be affecting the US dollar in a very negative way. Just stuff like that. And then episode 4 was basically talking about the gold acquisition and how that's bad for the US dollar. I'm talking about BRICS countries doing gold acquisition, and I may make a separate video on that. In fact, I will. I'm just going to briefly glance over that. But then in this episode, I just want to basically say that I'm going to bring up the GDP issue. I'm bringing this up because this is very important and brings into perspective how quickly BRICS is growing, as well as how serious we need to be taking them. So again, there's only 2 sources here. It's a very short section. I'm going to link them in the description below, but I'm going to read them off real fast. So based on, and this is according to watcher.guru as well as visualcapitalist.com, based on 2023 projections. Now, granted, some of these are higher, some of these are lower. In other words, if China, it says right here, they had a projected GDP in 2023 of 19.3 trillion. Was that the actual GDP? No, it was lower. But there are other countries that were under projected that actually went over what they were expected and over and beyond, and so the percentages roughly level out. So basically, when it comes to China, they had about 18% of the global economy based on their GDP. India, in a distant second, had about 4%. And if you look at all the BRICS nations, not including Saudi Arabia, not including the ones expressing interest, just the ones that are actually in it, their GDP total is about $29 trillion, or about 27.94% of the global economy. This is not including the other countries, the other 12 countries that have applied. I'm talking about a couple days ago at this point, as of February 1st, but just the ones that are officially in it. I think there's only 9 countries in there. So about $29 trillion, or 27.94% of the global economy. Now, this includes Russia, China, India, Brazil, South Africa, the UAE, Egypt, Iran, and Ethiopia. Now, this is a little over 64% of the total GDP of the G7. The G7 is the top 7 largest developed economies in the world. That includes the United States, Germany, the UK, France, Italy, and Japan. Now, those 7 make up 43% of the global economy. What's very interesting is the fact that back in 2014, I believe. I don't want to butcher that. I'm not going to give a date, but a while ago, Goldman Sachs actually predicted and had a projection that the BRICS system was going, of the G6, by the way, they're speaking of G6 here, not G7. So take out the smallest country in the G7, it's only the G6 at this point, which brings their average up higher, right? Was saying that basically the BRICS was going to have about 50% of the size of the GDP of the G6 in 2025, and they did that in 2015. What's interesting as well is they projected that the G6 would have still in 2035 remain higher in total GDP than the BRICS, but the BRICS would have about 60%, around 60% of the GDP size of the G6 by 2035. Well, they already have over 64% in its 2024. So every projection, they've been 10 years ahead of schedule, which is very rapidly approaching danger territory, because a lot of people think that the BRICS threat is 50 years off. It's not. It's now. And so basically, with that being said, that's really all I have to say about that. Again, that's just a little stat. Again, I'll give you guys all of the links in the description below, and I'll make sure that you guys can get the information to that. But again, this is based all on projections. The numbers for GDP per nation is not exact. Some of them are under, some of them are over, but if you look at I did look at the actual GDPs, and the percentage is roughly the same if you calculate it out. So with that being said, guys, thank you very much for watching. I know this was a very short one, but my voice it's scratchy and it doesn't really feel good talking, as well as I just wanted to make sure that you guys got at least that information, know why this is a shorter episode, and I'm going to be making a separate video on the gold and acquisition, and why that, once my voice is feeling better, and why that's bad for the US dollar and all the stuff that's been going on there. And then the next episode after that, as far as BRICS goes, we will be covering current events. So with that being said, guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Peace out.